Love you.
Love you too. Welcome to part 2 of our Q&A session. Last Friday, we answered kind of just general questions about how things have been, what adjustments have been made since having Hudson. This time we're going to talk a little bit more about pregnancy and having a child after loss. A little bit more about the emotional side of it, I guess.
Yeah.
So, bear with us. It might be a little difficult. So the first question, how is life with Hudson home and Carter and Little being in heaven?
Well, obviously life with Hudson home is fantastic, but there is always kind of that bittersweet side of, well, he's here, but the other two aren't. And like realistically, we could not have all three of them at home, but it would be really nice to even have Carter here. I went to the chiropractor the other day and mentioned that I just had a baby, and the chiropractor said, oh, is this your first? And I usually would say yes, but for some reason this time I said no. And he asked, oh, what's your other baby, boy or girl? How old is he? And is he jealous of his little brother? And I was like, no, he's a great big brother. And I felt like I was just, I don't know, fabricating things, but that's how I wish it was. I wish that Carter was here and able to love on Hudson and, I don't know, be that big brother that I know he would be.
I think that's the hardest part is we see kids that are similar to what Carter would be if he was here. And so we see where they are in their stage of life, and we can imagine what it'd be like to have this little toddler like terrorizing his little brother and, you know, loving on him and playing with him and all that stuff. Like we don't have that option. We don't have that. And so a lot of that is, oh, what would it be like if, you know, Carter was here? What would, you know, trying to go on a trip, go to the store, how different would that be? And we can only imagine that right now. And I think that's where it gets a little bit tricky, only because
We don't
know.
How has your grief been? I would say since having him.
Since having him, I think pretty good. I mean, luckily with him here, like, he's something to focus on, something tangible, so that makes things a lot easier. But at the same time, it's a little bit hard, like when we go to the cemetery and like we have to go to the cemetery, and that makes things a little bit harder. And like Caitlin said, talking to people and they're saying, you know, is this your first? And having him, a lot more people ask that question all of a sudden.
Yeah.
And that triggers things a little bit more, I think, than I expected it to. Only because I'm like, I can say 1 because he is here, but then I feel like I'm not including my entire family. Or I can say 3, and then I have to kind of explain that and almost, in a way, ruin that person's day. And so trying to balance that is a little bit difficult. And so I don't know if I'm answering this question, but it's been okay. There's obviously good days, bad days. When we're tired, I think those are harder days. But that's mine. What about you?
I think it's been fine. There have been times that it's been harder, and we've still hit some milestones, especially like the year mark from our last miscarriage. And so there's always going to be those emotions there, but like you said, having Hudson here gives us something to focus on and somewhere to kind of redirect that grief in the form of love. So, you know, we miss our babies, but we get to love on the one that's here. So,
and if anything, it just makes us appreciate him more. Going through what we've gone through, like, I'm okay to stay up in the middle of the night because we stayed up before, but is because we were sad and, you know, discussing our feelings and all that stuff. So I think that's helped in a lot of ways, but it's also made things a lot harder in a couple ways. And we have some milestones coming up, especially in October, so that's gonna be a lot harder, I think. But so far, I think it's been okay.
But also, I mean, on that note, like, Little Bean would have been born October 18th, and I'm pretty sure that's the day we got pregnant with Hudson. So it kind of like flips that day from something really, really sad to something good, you know?
Yeah. All right. Any advice for stillbirth mamas pregnant with their rainbow?
I would say be patient with yourself and still allow yourself to feel all of your grief and all of your fears and all of your sadness, because they're not going to go away. And there's no point in trying to squish your feelings down to like be happy and prepare for the new baby, because you're going to be happy anyway. So allow yourself to feel what you feel. and I don't know, I guess address your anxiety if you have it, because it's definitely real. Like, I saw a counselor, I was on an anti-anxiety pill, like I still am on the antidepressant, so like, yeah, I don't know, take care of yourself in whatever way works for you, but don't hold back, I guess. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know if I'll explain this well, but the Playful Facebook group on the Facebooks, they did a video kind of about our loss and about rainbow babies and stuff. And I was reading through the comments, and one of them said, after seeing this video, I'm gonna hold off getting excited until my baby's here. I'm 30 weeks pregnant. I'm like, well, no, that's not what the video's for. We're just trying to like...
But like, we get it.
We get it, we totally understand it, but like, it's okay to be excited.
Yeah.
And I know this question isn't for me, and like, obviously, I can't feel the emotions that moms do, but like, it's okay to feel all of the emotions, both good and bad, while you're going through it, I think. And it's like, if you have someone, talk to them. Let them know what emotions you're feeling. They can be good, they can be bad, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Have you had a lot of anxiety since baby has been here?
Have you? I mean, you didn't really have a ton of it before, but...
Every once in a while I will, but mostly it's when I'm like half asleep. But no, not so much. I think we do a pretty good job at like minimizing risk possibilities as much as possible. Like the owlet's helping with that. Making sure that, you know, he's sleeping where he should appropriately, and we're taking all the precautions to swaddle him appropriately. I think that's helping just for me to go through the process of that. So I would say it's been pretty good on my end, I guess.
Yeah, I think that you and I worry about different things. Like, you love having the outlet because it'll alert you to anything that happens like while he's sleeping. But, and like, we can obviously take precautions to minimize those risks. But I'm more worried about things that I can control. Because like, SIDS is not something that you can control. But I'm more worried about him choking or getting in a car accident or things like that. My anxiety's been a lot better since he's been here though. Like, so much better. That was cute. Yeah.
Too bad that people didn't see it.
Too bad. But yeah, my anxiety's been a lot better since he's been here. I have not had an anxiety attack in 8 weeks, so.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of it was we had kind of our end point that we had to get over. Like 39 weeks was our end point, so we just delivered him early. So then we kind of just cut that risk out, and I think that helped a lot tremendously. Have you been surprised by any aspect of being a mother to a baby who is Earthside?
We kind of answered the question, like, what surprised us about having a baby in the last Q&A, but I wanted to answer this to say, like, what's different about being a mom to Hudson versus being a mom to Carter and Little Bean. And I think that what has surprised me is exactly how much love I can have for my kids. Because I knew that I loved Carter and Little Bean, and I only knew the kind of love that I could have not parenting them at home. But it has been so incredible to have Hudson here at home and to realize how much I do love him. And because like I knew how much I loved Carter and Little Bean, and so I was like, okay, yeah, that's exactly how much I'm gonna love Hudson. But having him here has made me love all three of them so much more. So that has kind of surprised me, just how much I can love my kids.
It was kind of crazy. Like, so he was here, and it was like 2 days after Caitlin had been through surgery and everything, and she's just like, I want all the babies. She was just so excited to have as many as possible, because like having him here and just really being able to, I guess, project that love to something tangible, I think has just made it even more so for her. And so I think that's probably been the biggest thing, is just the ability to, you know, love something that much more than you ever expected to, I guess.
Now that you have a rainbow, would you ever consider a birthing center or home birth?
No. That's like super easy for me.
Yeah.
No.
And like, if you choose to do that, great. If it works for you, great. But given our history, we will never do something outside of a hospital.
Well, just like we are having complications with the delivery, we had to do an emergency C-section. Like, we needed to be there quickly because who knows what would have happened. So unless they can perform C-sections at home, probably not.
Yeah, no thank you.
Probably not gonna happen.
No thanks.
The last one, how do you, being you, and me, being me, stay so positive through all of the hard times you've had?
I think that one thing we're really good at is seeing the blessings through the hard times. So like, even though we lost Carter, we still gained a son, and we still get to love him, not quite as physically as we'd like to, but we can still love him all the same.
Yeah. I mean, so my aunt lost her son, and so we kind of use her as a role model, I think. She's just the nicest person you'll ever meet, and she's always looked on the positive side of things, and I think that's something we wanted to emulate, is just, we could focus on our grief and we could focus on the sad parts and the hard parts.
And we do.
And we do. We give them their time, but that's not our sole focus. We don't let that dictate our lives. And like Caitlin said, we do try to focus on the positive things and the positive experiences we've gotten out of this. And so I think because of that, it helps to put things in perspective a little bit. And so, yeah, I think just trying to focus more on the positive outcomes rather than the negative outcomes, I think, has probably been the biggest one for us.
Yeah. Well, like, I dealt with depression in college, and so going through all of this again, like, I don't want to deal with depression as much as I did then. And so for me, it's more of focusing on keeping my mindset somewhere healthy. Not necessarily positive all the time, because I don't know that we're necessarily the most positive people. Brandon is far more positive than I am. It's true, because when we were pregnant with Hudson, it was always an if for me. If we get to bring him home, not when. So, I don't know. We do our best, and it's not easy.
I think part of it, I mean, we rely heavily on each other.
Totally.
When things are good, we try to focus on those. When they're bad, we talk it out, and we really hash and really feel those feelings. We do it together. So having a support person that's really close and kind of knows exactly our situation has been incredibly helpful, I think.
Love you.
Love you too.
Do you guys have any other questions about pregnancy after loss or just life after loss? Let us know. I mean, that's one thing that has helped me, is being able to connect with other lost moms and help other people. So if you need help, we're here.
Yeah, you can.
We got you.
Our email is posted below if you want to send us an email so no one else can see it. You can send us Instagram messages, comment on our Facebook page. Really anything. We're here to help. Obviously, we're not experts in this. We're going through it. But probably the biggest thing we can do is just help each other through all of this. So if you need to reach out, please do.
Yeah.
We'd love to hear from you.
Yeah. So that's it for this Q&A. Thanks again for sending in all your questions. And we'll see you next time.